really pleased that we not only have time to celebrate this, but also to discuss it. Because of course, when we are discussing the issue of a democracy city and an international league of democracy cities, we have also to discuss how we do that and why we do that and what we are doing in different cities. Because of course, when I was myself in city government in Sweden, in the beginning discussing this concept of democracy city, some colleagues would say, what are you talking about? We are a democracy city because we are all elected. And this profound idea that democracy is just representative government, which means that those in government are elected by the people, this is really the big issue of today, that democracy is much more than representative government. It needs representative government, but it also needs so much more. It needs the rule of law, it needs a context which is free and fair for freedoms which are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and which are questioned many times. What's going on in Hong Kong just now, it's exactly about this dividing line. But as a democracy city, you have to strive for more than just preserving what you have. You have to develop also your democracy and to see how can you make democracy more democratic by allowing and enabling its people every day to have a say and to make this say also heard. And that's the discussion, that's the issue we are basically approaching in our Democracy City International League and also in the Magna Carta, which have basically 20 dimensions. We can see it's like a checklist. Not every city does everything. Not every city is as good as in others. So we want to learn from another. And today we are here in Taipei, this wonderful city, this capital of Taiwan. In the middle, you can say, of an enormous democratic development also in this part of the world. And that we also heard from our friend and colleague from Korea. In the recent years, there has been so many, especially young people, saying democracy is much more than elected leaders. It's also an everyday possibility to take part in a city, to share concerns. So in this round here, we would like to discuss also, and of course learn, especially also from Taipei and from Taiwan, how do you work concretely with these issues? What are the most difficult things? What are the most promising things in your work? And we have a very prominent panel here with Dong-Yuan Chen, professor at the Department of Public Administration at the National Cheng University. Welcome very much. Your research is about public administration, how it can be upgraded to meet the requirement of a modern participatory and direct democracy. That's my little takeaway from your biography, but of course you can explain much more. Then Associate Professor Yung Xiang Su, who is at the Institute of Law and Government, National Central University. Welcome also very much. Also, your research is dealing with the interface of public service, governance, and participatory and direct democracy, really these issues which we are mostly interested in. Then to my left, Associate Professor Kai Hong Fan, from the Department of Public Policy and Management at Chi Sin University. Welcome to this panel. You have also the booklet where there is a lot of information, but as I understand, your research pitch and advisory roles, in fact, is a lot into participatory budgeting, which you can say, and that's very interesting, participatory budgeting is in many cities around the world, it's like a door opener, a first step to a more participatory governance. It's a very, let's say, well-used form of participatory democracy. Today, then Caroline Verneilen, who is the Global Manager of PR and Community Building at Democracy International. Welcome on the panel. Democracy International, we already heard it before. Democracy International is in the very heart of the Global Forum process since many years, and one can also say Caroline is in the very heart of building this world community of democracy supporters and in that also very important, you can say, for the idea of the International League of Democracy Cities. And finally, Andrea Duarte, the coordinator of the International Observatory of Participatory Democracy, IOPD. Welcome on the panel. And, your organization is headquartered and based in Barcelona, and IOPD is basically connecting citizens and cities around the world on the issues of participatory and direct democracy. So also from your experience, it will be very interesting to hear more about how we can build these kind of alliances and what it should be about. So let's start our conversation. The idea is that we have two basic rounds here on the panel, where all panelists also get a chance to a little bit lay out their research, their work, their ideas, and then afterwards, as much as we have time, also to open up for all of you. Because of course, it's not like that we are the specialists and you are just listeners. Most people in this room are democracy experts from different kind of worlds, so there will be an interesting conversation. So let's start the conversation with the basic question: what makes a democracy city, and how does the research, the work you are doing, go into this field? What do you see as crucial features of that? And I would like to invite you first to give your thoughts.
First of all, I want to represent a citizen of Taipei to welcome all the friends all around the world to come to Taipei. It's an exciting city, so if you can stay a couple more days and enjoy the skyline of the city. Okay, but because I'm the beginner of talking about this topic, in fact, we have three questions. I would like to say something about from academia kind of perspective. Because doing research, you cannot admit too many truths in the beginning. So we are more coming from a suspicious way, talking about, well, democracy being eventually settled in human society. In fact, if you think that the representative democracy is still alive and kicking, so there must be something that we cannot push right now into a direct democracy. For example, there's one thing I really want to talk about is sometimes why we need a democracy. There's a foundation for open data, open government, transparency. But the problem behind that kind of thing you want to solve is we call that information asymmetry. You need to ease that kind of asymmetry, and the citizen they can participate, they can knowing things, and they can deal with things. But in fact, in economic theory, we are not only talking about information asymmetry. In fact, we're talking about professional asymmetry. So I think that's the hindrance for real citizens to participate into a more professional arena of the government decision making. So my research, in fact, all the time focusing on this point, saying how can we solve the professional asymmetry problem for direct democracy, for people to really participate into some very difficult thing. Give you an example, because my research, one of the area is I'm researching on you know Taiwan, we have a very good health care system. We call that national health insurance. And the budget allocation or that kind of decision being made by a committee. And that committee, in the past, they always occupy with all the experts. But in certain area, we have some direct democracy push. So there are 3 or 4 ordinary citizens being put into that system. But I doing probably 2 years research to understand how these citizens come into a very difficult expert panel to give what kind of opinion to the final decision. I find out we need to have a lot of assisting institution or procedure to help these citizens to really participate into that kind of expert panel in order to contribute. Otherwise, they really know nothing about the budgetary, all kind of stuff. So my concern always like that, saying, yeah, I think direct democracy is good because it's for citizens, and there are some Americans said that all the defect of democracy should be cured with more democracy. I understand that kind of situation, but in a very realistic kind of thinking from the academia, we need to deal with the professional asymmetry problem. How to deal with that, and then not only people participate, but also, democratic goal, some part of the goal is doing the right decision. It's not only doing the decision. So that kind of right decision sometimes concerning the professional standard of the decision, or even hard knowledge. If you don't have it and you participate, that probably is just participate, drinking wine and talking, and probably your contribution is not really moving toward the right decision. So I would like to put these kind of things out, because in urban area, the problem is getting more and more intense because of the population, like health, transportation, and more professional. One professional is not enough to solve the problem. We need more and more combined, or even boundary crossing kind of professional to solve the problem. This kind of intensity of professionalism in problem solving of government, how can we invade or invent or building more direct democracy kind of panel into it? So I think that I want to raise a central question about how can we really doing that. I have several other research area to discuss this kind of stuff, but still that's my first question. I probably just answering the question by more difficult question. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. But I mean, you raised an important question, obviously, of the, I mean, in a political infrastructure of, let's say, elected officials of administration, those professionals have an infrastructure of information, of support, and what you raise is the question in a more participatory, direct democratic approach, which kind of support and infrastructure is given to the people? And you raised the question, but do you have some answers? Do you have some examples? I mean, that would be interesting as well.
For example, like what I'm talking about, the national health insurance, for those citizens, really expert laymen citizens, the bureaucrats should train them before the committee meeting, and then present to them more information, let them understand what's the issue in the next committee we are going to do it. So I think training and teaching and let them learn more about the key issue. Sometimes I feel like those bureaucrats, they have to have that kind of layman language ability to teach them, and in a very short time, let them understand the key problem and where's the key decision you should make. So I think that's one of what you talk about infrastructure for citizens, not only for politicians, in order to really establish the direct democracy. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of direct participatory events I observe. It's really just a showcase. That people come in and drinking, have good wine, and then ending. There's no impact of problem solving, really. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much for this. I think it's a very important opening for this discussion because, as you have said, I mean, it's nice to talk about more democracy as a way of solving problems, but the question is how and what the quality is, and also what the city wants to invest into that. So that's a very interesting question we certainly have to take with us. So I would like to invite Professor Su to also give a little bit of this kind of opening idea or question or even solution. Welcome.
Thank you for the invitation. And it is a very great honor to have a short speak here. And I think I will start with the policy problem because I have to admit that I was a policy trained scholar, so I'm interested in the policy problem. I like to find a way to solve the problem. And from a city association, and they don't want to have any kind of housing in their neighborhoods. And after that, I find that the city government take a proactive way to deal with this problem. They do it with a series of the citizen participation. They do a lot of hearing, and they continue to include the stakeholders in the policy making, and like in ways of they provide public nursing in the public housing of the social housing. And so they finally find a way to deal with each other, and they can accept this kind of social housing in their neighbors. So based on this experience, I can provide 3 bullet points I would serve as the discussion point for you to discussion. And first, I think what makes democracy situation worse is that you need to have active citizens first. And the active citizen can raise the awareness of the community. They have some problem in there, and they need to solve this problem collectively. And the second point would be that you need to have enabling bureaucrats, which means that the government needs to enable bureaucrats to take any step when they confront any problem like this. They face the citizen organization in the field, and they are allowed to take any form like in the direct democracy or the citizen participation to solve these problems. And the third, and I think would be the most fundamental point, would be that you need to have a shared belief in democracy. Because these two, I mean the active citizens and the enabling bureaucrats are conflict with each other. And how they can be reconciled with each other is that they believe they can interact with each other in ways of the citizen participation, and they believe in this process they can make their social living in a better way. So I think I would provide these 3 points for our discussion.
Thank you. That's enormously interesting points, because you described this challenge of the shift of the perspective when it comes to have an administration or a bureaucracy who is the one to deal with active citizens and not just, let's say, serve for active citizens. This interaction, which in a traditional way, of course, bureaucracy was basically under a political leadership and should serve them to execute what they decided. And when you now get in active citizens as an important stakeholder, this kind of culture of administration and bureaucracy and public service changes. Do you have an example from your research and your work here in Taipei where this has been successful, or even when it was not successful, why that was the reason?
I made a few observations to the public hearing over the past 5 years. And for the first year, I think you can imagine that the situation is very serious and very confronted. And I think everybody would say that they have a reason that they do not want this kind of social housing in their neighbors. And after the first round of the public hearing, and the city government proposed a lot of ways to deal with this kind of confrontation. Like they encourage more citizens to participate in their public hearings, and they also make promise, or they make compromise that they would carve some room, or they would allow the public nursing, the public facility, like playground in their neighbors. So they make some compromise. But this kind of compromise is through enabling bureaucrats. Bureaucrats are authorized to do that. They can make allowance, they can make compromise to the citizen, and then finally the citizen accept this kind of deal. And after 5 years, the next round of public hearing is very peaceful, and they are agreeing with each other. I think I cannot say that it is a success story, but I think another story for that would be that we need to take a holistic view, a holistic perspective to see the citizen participation, because it is a very long and very, I think it is also very costly way to do that, but I think it worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very interesting indeed. As housing is really a global issue on the local level all over the world, I think this is certainly a story or an experience which can be shared with everybody, and also can be base of a exchange on knowledge, how to deal with that. So let's move forward to Professor Pan. And the issue, as I understand, you were looking mostly to participatory budgeting. As you know, as we said, this is something which now really all over the world is in fact used more and more. Could you share a little bit about what's happening here when it comes to that, and what are your experiences?
Okay, thank you. I'm honored to be here to share my experience on Taipei City's PB, participatory budgeting, with all of you. My name is Kai Hongfang from Shishin University, and actually my role in the participatory budgeting in Taipei is that a group of my colleagues and students are first of the teams that are invited to help Taipei City government, especially at district level, to implement PB. So before anything was happening, we got opportunity to participate in how this meeting are organized, what kind of the issues we should consider, and also in the process, because we are trying to develop the citywide standard operation procedure at that time. So I'm also honored to have a chance to give my input during that time. So in a sense, during my experience in participation, I think I'm more like half practitioner and half academia, so it's given me a very good opportunity to practice while observing the whole process. So one thing that I think when a city wants to be a democratic city, I think during my experience of participate in these PB efforts, I think continuing reflection and debating on issues we are encountered while we are trying to make something happen is the key for us to move everything forward. For example, I think during my 3-year experience in Taipei City, several issues are happening. Some issues are debated in the first year, and some issues are continuing debating even now. So first is that when we try to beginning the process of implementing the participatory budgeting in Taipei, one of the first issues that we encounter is that what is the role of PB? Should we using PB as a mechanism to replace the current representative bureaucracy, especially city council, or is a supplement mechanism within the current representative bureaucracy? I think that's the very first question. In the real world, should PB proposal approved by citizens should also be considered or reviewed by the council? That's the first question. And then at the end, we think that in order to make things moving forward and reduce the opposition from the council, so the first decision was made that PB in Taipei will be supplementary to the currently representative democracy, especially the city council will given the opportunity to review the proposal. That's the overall ideas. And also, I think the second issue that we can think is that from my experience, we also think that we should try everything possible to address the needs of citizens. I think that's easy concept to understand. But during my participation in these efforts, I also think the needs there's different way to view these needs. First, there's two very unique and I think very important needs that we can see during the process. First is the needs identified by the bureaucratic expertise. As Dr. Chen was saying that by making public decisions, we need professional knowledge. So that, in a sense, the city government have a lot of knowledge regarding how, based on their role and based on their past experience, how the public decision should be made. They use their knowledge to make the decision they think is proper decisions. However, during PB, we also think that citizens also have, sometimes they see the needs of people from different perspectives, especially they are from their everyday life. They may not have their professional knowledge to think what is wrong or what is right, but they know that their everyday life, and they know that there is a problem in their life that should be addressed by the government. They don't know it's professionally right or is wrong, but that's something needs to be addressed. Which one is the correct? From my experience, I don't know. I think both of them have their rationale, have their way of making justification. So I think continuing to debate and the reflection on this idea is the key to make democratic city moving forward. Because by doing that, then we will know what we really concerned, and we will know what we should make things moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I think you are addressing again here also this kind of interface between active citizens and elected government, and of course also administration. In a little bit to understand better, let's say, the dimensions and the amount of participatory budgeting in Taipei, can you give us some facts about it? Oh yes, a little bit. How many people are involved? How much money? Which kind of issues?
Okay. I think for now, the average amount of the budget we propose usually, I think, is usually less than 1 million Taiwanese dollars, which is maybe 30,000 US dollars. So it's not a lot. And how many people participate? I think a lot of people participate. Usually we have the citizen meetings, and the average size is about 40 to 50 people in the meeting. And the process is that for a district, usually we will organize 3 to 5 meetings every year. And then, so you can count, there's maybe like 50 people for 4 meetings in average. So that's 200, and we have 12 districts. So that's how people participate. But the thing also, and that's another reflection, is that we also think that in the beginning, we, as an academia, I think PB should attract more ordinary citizens, which is not active citizens in comparison, because active citizens, they have more, already have more candidates to participate. But the thing is that those people have connection at the local level and know people, so they can mobilize people to participate in those meetings. So without their help, I don't know how many people will show up in the meetings. So that's a dilemma as well. So what's the role of these active citizens, how they participate in those meetings, what kind of role are given to them, but when they are allowed to, when they are play a very active role in the meetings, that's a big, there will be another problem. In the sense that because they know public affairs better, they have more knowledge. So when they discuss, the idea is much better. So sometimes they will dominate the table or the meeting. So I think, for myself, I think during this experience, I don't think there's a right or wrong, but there's a lot of issues arise during the process that it really has to be considered and studied.
You certainly address an issue which in all these kind of projects and methodologies of participatory democracy is always a question mark. Who is participating? Is it the people who already are extremely well organized and have a strong voice, or are really people who normally don't participate and make their voice heard involved? And I think that's a big issue for discussing how a democracy city can improve. So let's go a little bit more global now. It was really important, and of course that's also every time we have an event like Global Forum, it's so important to learn from the experience, from the place these forums take place. So these kind of forums are not detached, they are very connected. So that's very important to learn from from the host cities, from the host countries. But I still want to go now a little bit more global. Caroline Barnayan, you have been involved in Democracy International as a global community coordinator now for several years with the global forums. You get a lot of people approaching you from around the world. And this issue of the democracy city and this issue of the local level development, how important is it in this kind of global development of democratization?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important because we don't live in little bubbles, you know. We, of course, the local level, I think, is maybe the most important or the most concrete level of democratic participation. I mean, you've talked about playgrounds and social housing. These are all very concrete projects that directly impact the quality of life of citizens. And so it is important that this can be translated to a level where we can learn from each other. So where what we try to do at Democracy International, it's to create opportunities where officials from one city can learn from what somebody halfway across the world is doing, and have an opportunity to take that experience with all of its benefits and all of its mistakes, and to reproduce something at home. And one thing that always amazes me at the Global Forum, and that we're very proud of, is that we have an extremely diverse mix. We have activists who come here. We have people who work in city administrations. We have experts from universities, and I think this mix is crucial, not just on a conference like this, but in every city. You need activists. You need active citizens who bring in the experience of daily life and who know what the problems are and who can identify what is going on. But you also need science to identify maybe the way forward. And then you need good city officials who are open and who are listening and who want to make a change and who are looking at the good examples around the world. So I think the mix is crucial.
I mean, we heard also before from our colleague Joe Matthews that in the US cities, many officials don't really get that idea with an international league of democracy cities because they don't see a need of learning or teaching or exchanging. What is your experience? Is there a growing curiosity, or are many people participating in this kind of debates very much fighting with their own problems, or do you see like a growing interest in solutions and to share solutions?
I think that in general across the world we are in a very difficult time. There are a lot of things happening. For example, we have I would say many countries and many cities are experiencing problems where voters are losing trust in traditional structures, in parties, and in media, and in government, also local government. And I would say that the very best of cities are trying, and the very best of representatives are trying to find a solution for that. So I think, yes, there is a growing curiosity, or a growing will to see what can we do to win people's trust back, and I think that's very important. I think at the very least, or you know, to quote the ancient Greek or something, the wisest people are those who know that how very little they know. So it's always possible to learn more and to learn from each other. So.
Of course, there's a lot to learn, and as you also said, Dr. Chen, I mean there is an imbalance in information, and one organization I know who is working a lot with that is the International Observatory for Participatory Democracy, and you, Andrea Duarte, are a coordinator of this network, which is basically maybe in a little bit, let's say, a more comprehensive on one side, on the other side, a little bit, let's say, maybe more general way is doing something similar we are trying to establish with this international league. So could you share a little bit from your experience, which are the key points when it comes to, let's say, democracy cities around the world? Are there some common features, or is it just like an amount of experience we can just not grip and understand?
Yes, thank you, Bruno. Yeah, I think it's three key dimensions I want to share in this point. The first one is to really have a true commitment in democracy and human rights and the political leadership. I think it's very important, these 2 points. The second has to be to have a transversal planification of the democracy, not just like a small thing working on, but not have a really global transversal planification. And the third point is, to have a set of tools and mechanisms that some of have been developed before to really achieve that all the populations can participate. No? I think it's three of these points. The first one that I talked about, the democratic and human rights conviction. So by defending human rights, we really understand the promotion and defense of the civil rights of the inhabitants of the city, not just like the people who have the nationality, but also all the inhabitants. I think it's very important, this inclusion point. And also to promote that democratic and human rights culture and take concrete actions in that sense. No? And the political leadership, I think it's very, very important. And I think some points that have been developed before about the bureaucratic issue with the citizens and also with the leadership, I think it's very important because sometimes, you were sharing the other point, but we really found some places where we have some political leaders that want to develop some like democratic innovations, but sometimes they have the reluctance of some of the bureaucratic area of the city. So sometimes it's this mix of situation. I think the political leadership is really, really important to have this commitment. And secondly, about the global strategy of the democracy and citizen participation, I think it's, as I told before, to have really global thinking of the democracy, not just like the citizen participation area. Of course, it's very important that you have a small team really focused on that, but it's very important to have this really transversal planification from all the departments of the city and are working and implementing these democratic plans, so the different areas and departments can implement, I don't know, the culture area or the transportation area are developing their policies with the participation vision, And finally, the third issue about the tools, the tools and the mechanisms. Some of them have been talking about. PB is for sure a very interesting tool that have been implemented around the world. So it started in Brazil and now it's everywhere really around the world with really different methodologies. Sometimes it's with like assemblies, and other it was sortition, but it's really a very, very interesting tool, and now sometimes it's implemented for thematic areas, for example. I think the case of Metz that they're doing the PB on climate change, and other cities are developing PB, for example, for youth, or for different publics, and other ideas about maybe the most cities are more successful. And I will say 3 other points. It's the communication, for sure, it's very important. So before we're talking about how many people are really participating, so for sure it's the communication, it's very important to reach the maximum of people. And the inclusion, I was talking about then, it's very important to design all these mechanisms and tools, thinking in the diversity of our cities. We have gender, the age, it's very different. I think participation for elderly or for youth, and all the diversity we have in our cities. And finally, of course, the point of evaluation. I think it's very important to learn and continue to evaluate our policies and to improve them with the evaluation. And sometimes also the evaluation with the citizens would be very interesting.
Thank you. I mean, it's really a toolbox you are talking about when it comes to work with democracy cities. I just want to ask about something which you named in the beginning, the issue of human rights protection. I mean, we have had generally seen different ways of democratization, different ways of strengthening human rights through international conventions. And this is basically something which different, let's say, democracy institutions or ranking institutions are today really very concerned about. That in many countries there are elected leaders today who are not really so interested anymore in protecting human rights, in let's say the classical elements of a modern representative democracy. They even sometimes misuse direct democracy in their ways. And this, let's say, backlash for classical representative government democracy, on the other side, you can see there is research clearly showing that on the local and regional level, there is another development, that many cities are improving, many local levels are improving, mayors playing a global role on these issues. Do you see that it's possible to counter this kind of national level backlash democracy with more local and regional strong democracies?
Yeah, I think you did a very good description of the situation, and I think they should do the most they can, but unfortunately I'm not sure that only with the local government. I think it's so important to local government lead and try to improve the situation, and really I think in the human rights it's really a very important issue, but it's very difficult that only cities do. For that, it's very important that the cooperation between cities and creating these networks is very important, just to try to improve that. And sometimes it's important to go together the cities also in the role of advocacy, no? In the national and the international level, it's also very important to really try to have this direct contact between cities to the international institution. It's very, very important to achieve that. So yeah, I think we have to continue to building these networks and to empower of the local governments with all the civil society, of course, to defend the human rights and the democracy.
Thank you. I mean, in this Taipei Democracy City Summit, we are talking about why and what, of course, what's going on in a democracy city, but also how to cooperate and how to make this kind of network stronger. We have the draft Magna Carta, we have the idea of the International League, which was symbolically established now. Before I would like to go into this, let's say, question of how to do that, how we can better cooperate and on what issues, I would briefly like to open the floor for maybe questions now to the issue of why and what and these examples you have heard, because otherwise we are a little bit mixing up, and I know there are many people here. Now we have not time to make many presentations or other examples, but if some of you have a question to the panel here or a precisation, please raise your hand and you will get the microphone.
Huh. Oh.
Yes, there.
Tabak.
Okay, and please stand up, identify yourself, and be brief. We will gather 4 or 5 such comments now, and then have feedback there. Yes.
Hey, good evening. My name is Enoch Tabak. I'm from Germany and from the Omnibus for Direct Democracy. And my question to the panel would be, what is the most beautiful result of a participatory budget that you've heard of?
Thank you. Very clear. And Michael Cow here.
I'm not sure this is just a question or some comment, because I personally has been studying direct democracy for many, many years. And I consider this is a new, science, as opposed to traditional political science. Now, my question is related to this methodology. Now we, in our thinking, in our education, we tend to give a lot of emphasis on sort of professionalism, to some extent also elitism. Knowledge is good. Unless you have knowledge, you are not qualified to get involved in decision making. But I think, for direct democracy, we are emerging a new concept, new methodology. We have to give the people their say, their feeling, their demand. And so in that sense, my question can be phrased, whether we have to really think about direct democracy as a new science, which to some extent how we can get the people's perspective, people's power into the process of decision making, and not too much emphasizing elitism, bureaucratism, professionalism. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Rabban Furman.
Rabban Furman from the Academy for Democracy. My question is related to a very important development. In the last years, we have seen more and more of this kind of innovations in the field of public budgeting, for example, in the field of direct democracy, in the field of public participation. So there are hundreds of tools. I myself research at the University of Tübingen in this field. So my question is, what kind of training do you have here in Taipei, for example, or your international experience, which helps most that the decision makers in administrations really use the right tool? Because there are so many different possibilities how to organize, for example, participatory budget, that it's not just copying another model, but you really have to develop your own. So what kind of trainings do you offer your own people here in Taipei, especially, that makes the job well?
Thank you. Is there also a female voice?
Hello, my name is Marie Jünemann from Berlin, and I have a question maybe for Dr. Chen. You called from better or no information asymmetry between citizens and politicians, and I myself, I'm doing a citizen initiative for more transparency in Berlin, my hometown, and I want to ask you how you or how the Taipei city wants to ensure that political informations are transparent or available for citizens.
Finally, a second female question.
Thank you very much. My name is Anna Rodarkowska. I work here at Stankan University, and I just started a new research on city diplomacy. I'm very new to the topic. I would like to do research on diplomacy of Taiwanese cities. And from the professors who work on this topic for already a long time, I would like to ask a very simple and direct question. What are the questions that still have to be asked in this area of cities diplomacy, cities international relations? What are the avenues for research? What questions are waiting to respond? For response, and maybe are there any questions? I'm not only asking professors, but maybe the practitioners, those who not only work on academia in this area, but also what kind of research would be helpful for practitioners who want to see more direct democracy in cities? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. These are really 5 very interesting questions. Now, of course, we have limited time, so I will ask all of you to pick one of the questions and to give a very short answer. So maybe Dr. Chen may start.
I think all those 5 are very good questions. 2 of them is related to comments. I think, talking about professionalism is kind of evil now in this kind of form, because we are looking for people's opinion. Although they don't have this kind of expertise to discuss things. But I think that's not only the problem of science or arts. I think it's a methodological problem. Are you talking about value or facts? I think that's a long-term kind of debate about which one is building up the better future of the human beings. So I think both of them are very important now. In this kind of arena, we're talking about direct democracy. I think the layman or not expert is more important here, okay? But in the real governing situation, I think both of them are very important. So we need to reconcile or combine or even mix them together in order to get a better outcome. The reason why, because the outcome is good or bad will affect citizens directly. Certain part of them, they don't understand. But still, we need to do this, especially building a different kind of mechanism to do that. Okay, I think that's one part. And another part is one little lady in the back from Berlin. I think what you're talking about to ensure the citizen knows something, it's not that easy, you know. What I'm studying about the bureaucracy, and they have the tendency about lynching information and then giving to you. And sometimes I think it's because there's a very serious responsibility problem there. And sometimes it's because of the people privacy problem there. They probably cannot give you too much information about some other people. So I think there are always some problem of really open the data, open the information to the citizen. But I think now, because I'm I'm the director of Taiwan e-government research center. So in fact, we make a lot of effort in open government and open data. So I think because of the post-Web 2.0, in fact, more and more laymen and experts, they mix together on the internet. So they can provide more of the third-person information to the citizen, even more than the government. So I think even there's very difficult data they put on the internet, and there are some lay expert. They translate those data to the layman, and they can understand. So I probably play a great hope in this kind of open access to the internet, and everybody, you can be an expert to learn something on the internet, and that will save a lot of educational training, time for a citizen to really catch up. Or there's another alternative is you don't need to be an expert yourself, but you can find some expert on the internet, and then you can make meaningful decisions for yourself, for your community, and for even some organization. So I think the internet probably is the tool. What we talking about in the future, they are still growing. Next year, 2020, the 5G will come in. So more nonverbal communication will get more and more active. So that kind of professional asymmetry and information asymmetry, probably we have some hope there. But the internet is an evil place also. The people learn fake news there also. And they build up their echo chamber there. So I think it both ways, the black and white. We all can see the future, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Su. One, maximum two questions. He took two, but not more.
I think I can answer for the further issues question, which is is there any kind of question that we could rise, could be further analyzed? I think there is, maybe some audience also raised this question, the professionalism question, and it related to another question, that is, where is the boundary line, or where is the defense line for the bureaucrats? If you allow citizens to participate into your decision making, it means that you sacrifice some space or some room for that is originally for the public interest. For example, in my case in the social housing, when they make sacrifice, they make a cut off some public space and for the neighborhood to be used, it means that they also cut off some of the housing that originally designed for the youth or the minorities. That is the public interest question. So I think the further question for this kind of issue would be that where is the boundary or the baseline for the participation? And how can we make this kind of boundaries?
Thank you. Okay, I think the first question I would like to answer is the training of PB in Taipei. Actually, for the brochure in page 23, I think they have a brief description regarding the training program of Taipei City's PB project. Actually, we developed a course called 3 hour, 6 hour, and 9 hour training programs. And then for now, most common training programs for 3 hours. The purpose of the program is to give a brief idea regarding what are PB and what we are trying to participate in the PB and some of the issues and experience of PB to the general students. And then the 6 hour course is developed to training people who are going to help in organizing the meetings. And then now, because this is more like for the representatives or the helpers or volunteers to help in the PB efforts, so the number of courses is smaller. And then finally, for the 9 hour program, the purpose of that is to help because before we go into I-voting, there's a stage where citizens are invited to review those proposals. So in a sense, we try to give these citizens more professional knowledge regarding city budget system, regarding how cities are making decisions, etc. But now, for those programs, because what are going to be taught in those courses are still developing. So for those 9 hour programs now, I think we tried once or twice, but it's still in the developing process. And I think the second question that I would like to answer is the first question, the most beautiful results of PB. I don't know the beautiful results, I mean, how to define that, but I have a lot of beautiful stories that I can share in this occasion. I think the first one is that during the first year of participation, I was in a teaching course, which is the 3 hour course, and then a mother come to me and asked that she had a specific idea regarding how playground in a park should be developed, should be built for her child. So she tries to talk to the local leaders, councilor, or even though city officials, but no one agrees with her ideas, and no one thinking of trying to put her idea into implementation. So he come to the course and then asked me is this the possible mechanism for her idea to push through. And then this is the third year, and one of the most strong alliances from general public is called, I don't know the English translation, but just direct translate from Chinese, it's called Alliances of Giving Back Feeder Park to Us. It's a group of mothers who group together using PB as a mechanism to advocate for a lot of playground projects in Taipei. And now even some councilor in last year's election taking credits for making those things happen. So I think that's one of the stories that I can share from ordinary mother or a group of ordinary mother. Now it become an official policy in Taipei City, and also those groups are not dismissed. They are a strong group which are putting more ideas. Now they are thinking of making street a playground again for their child. So that they are trying to do that. And the second example is that another story is that from local leaders. Okay, and then he is not ordinary people, but he thinks that through PB he can meet new peoples, and also because in his neighborhood people have different interests. So by using PB as a mechanism, trying to put the new proposals in the PB, he can attract new people who are willing to participate in those public affairs.
Thank you. Yeah, Carol?
I would like to very quickly answer Mr. Kao's question about elitism and whether direct democracy is a new tool if we're moving away from professional decision making to citizens' decision making. And if I can be very brief, I don't think it is a new thing, direct democracy. I think we are actually returning to the essence of democracy, which means that everybody who is concerned or influenced by the consequences of the decision should be involved in making that decision. But of course, what we do need is professional implementation, and what is new is how these mechanisms can work. We have so many different opportunities today. We have digital opportunities that are practically limitless, and this is something that we focus a lot on with Democracy International. This is why we think that sharing knowledge is incredibly important, and it's also one of the reasons why we decided to set up an online platform where people can go and present their initiatives, whether they are activists or experts or people working in official administrations, and they can literally put their project on a map and learn from what other people are doing, maybe across the world or maybe 2 streets over, and you might just never have known. So this is why we said it's called our International Democracy Community.
Very useful. Thank you very much, Adrian. So yeah, we'll answer the question about the beautiful results of PB. I think it's really a lot of examples, but there's really a very nice experience. And I will to share those two experiences here of Taiwan. One is in the city of Taoyuan. It's just near where the international airport. It's a very small initiative. It's a PB for migrant people, and I think it was really, really interesting because it was not really for re-engage democracy for all the city, but it's really, in this case, focused more on the inclusion of some group of people that are sometimes not very engaged. They don't speak the language, so it was very focused in like small workshops and like really training the facilitator. It was really a small one, but very, very interesting. And another one also from New Taipei. It's in one neighborhood. It's about disabled people. And it was also very, very interesting people. So it's those two examples of experience really for not really all the public, or really focus on using the methodology of PB for really focusing the inclusion or for solving some problems. Yeah, two examples of that.
Thank you. I must say, I really like the setup here. I mean, in many places at this stage, somebody would sit there with a red card showing me that the time is finished. Here you're bringing the goodwill ambassadors, and they just stand there and show also clearly that the time is about to be ended. And I'm conscious that at 17:30 we have to finish this session, because then it will be rebuilt for the dinner event. So I'm also wanting to communicate to the master of celebration here that I'm conscious about that, and I'm sharing a little bit of my final time here with that. And I would like just to end this panel with a very brief question about, I mean, you have heard about this Magna Carta draft, you have heard about the International League of Democracy Cities, so just each of you give a very short idea. What do you think would be the most important thing for this work to continue to be more global and to be really truly democratic? Maybe an idea you have? A proposal for us, for all of us? A wish? Yeah, you can give a wish. A wish. One wish.
I wish the internet will be beneficial but not harmful to the knowledge sharing. I think that's my wish.
Great wish, thank you very much.
I wish to know the difference between us. It is more important than the benchmark. I think to know the difference between us, we will have a good start point to amend our difference, and then start from that to go forward.
ちょっと私はもう飛行機の時間なので、帰ります。ギリギリまでいたけど、ちょっともうリミットですね。はい、見てくれてありがとうございます。また帰ったら報告会とかやりますので、楽しみにしててください。ありがとうございました。